Hey guys, it is Amber here from the Gardening Sisters, and in today's video I'm pretty much going to be doing two things. So in the first part of this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about some of the things that I learned, the successes and the failures of growing my tulips this year. And then the second part of the video, I'm just going to be showing you everything that did bloom for me. So the beginning of this video, I don't want it to be too long, but I do want to come in the spirit of successes and failures and show you guys what happened. It is gardening and no gardener is going to have a perfect journey. So I don't want this channel to ever feel like I'm only showing these successes, because we do in fact have a lot of failures that happen here, but we do have quite a bit of success. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, you guys came along and you potted up tulips and hyacinths with me. You also planted up alliums with me as well. I can tell you now, those didn't make it because I was having a rodent issue, which I believe to be a rabbit that was basically digging those up and just kind of tossing them. They don't like the smell of like onion and things like that. So to get to my tulips, they were digging up those and kind of like tossing them out the way. And so that's the first thing with the failures that I had. I wish I would have had some kind of like cage to either cage around my tulip bulbs or those things. I found some off of Breck's website. I haven't bought them yet. I'm still deciding if I'm going to get them from that website, but I do know in fact that I am going to purchase some for the upcoming season, where you put the tulip bulbs in like a little planter, and on top of it is kind of like a cage. So if you bury it in the ground, the squirrels, the rabbits, whatever it may be, they won't actually be able to dig up your tulip bulbs, and you can rest assured that you will have tulips come the next spring if you've done everything right. So that was one of the first things that I wanted to talk about. I had a very bad rodent issue. Some of them survived, some of them didn't. What I did to counteract that, I didn't really want to go and get any like pest repellent, because I didn't really know what my tulips were going to do, because I knew I had done something wrong, which I'm going to be talking about in the next point that was kind of aiding towards my failures. So what I did was, I have these blue bins and I pretty much just rolled the tulips in and out of my garage every night. And then in the backyard, I believe I showed it in a previous video, where I had these kind of like floorboard things that I kind of stuck on top of the tulips, and then I would put a grow bag on top of it, and that kept them out all the way up until, you know, the green actually started to sprout up. Then I had to move them because of course you can't crush the tulip. Getting into the second point, the second thing that happened, which was my problem, was I ordered my tulip bulbs too late. So my bulbs really only got about an 8 to 10 week cold period, and most people know that tulips need at least 12 to 14 weeks for your tulips to both grow longer stems, longer, stronger, sturdier stems, and also to produce a bloom. So thankfully, some of my tulips I did get actual blooms from them, but a lot of them I did not, and some of them I only got one, and then you would see more of them trying to show up, but they just kind of like gave out on me. So a lot of that again was user error, and it had nothing to do with the company that I ordered from. So with this being my second year of trying to grow tulips, the first year I tried to grow tulips for forcing, and that didn't work because I ordered pre-chilled tulips, and a lot of those tulips just came in bad condition. So I told myself this year I would order my own tulips, and then I would place them in the fridge. And so I got a lot more success this time, but again, I didn't give them a long enough time for the chill period. So I reached out to some other fellow YouTubers who actually grow tulips, and I asked them around what time do they actually start putting their orders in, because I would see a lot of videos where people were like getting these huge orders, which I don't plan to grow grow any on a large scale, just enough for me to enjoy the first colors of spring. But they actually order them pretty early in the season, so I will make sure that I do that as well this time. And I really think that that was the only issue. As far as the way I planted them, I didn't have an issue with that, but those were the two things that really, I believe, stunted my success this year. So I'm going to turn around and show you everything that's kind of hanging out now. As far as the hyacinths did wonderful. So I don't think that hyacinths even really, I kind of read I have kind of read two different things about the hyacinths. Some say that they need a cold period. Some say that they don't. The 8 to 10 weeks work well for mine. So they're actually kind of finishing blooming. Some of them even kind of sent up a second bloom, and they're doing that now. But other than that, I had no problems with the hyacinths. They gave a very beautiful show. They smelled so nicely in my walkway. So I'm gonna pan over to everything and I'm gonna show you what everything looks like. So I still have some tulips that are blooming for me right now, and then I'll show you the ones where nothing happened. They just sent up a bunch of foliage. Some of my tulips are already spent, so I clipped off right below the bulb, and I'm leaving them in there so that all of the energy can go back into the bulb. And any of my bulbs that actually still look good, I am going to try and save them. However, I will be ordering new tulips. So this is also going to include my daffodils as well. Just showing you guys in the later part, the second half of the video, all of my daffodils. They did well. I didn't have any problems with those. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this over so you guys can see everything, and then we'll go ahead and get into the actual tour of everything that bloomed. So here's everything that is still hanging on. This is the only one of my Minton variety. You can see that I do have a tulip here, and I also have this tulip here that is trying to send up one. I believe this one was trying to send up one as well, but am I going to get one? I'm not too sure. This is what it looks like, and as far as the foliage, that's pretty much what I got. So here is where all of the hyacinths were sitting, and you can see they are finishing. Some of these have already been snipped. A lot of these have already been snipped actually. So I'm just letting those run its course. These are more spent tulips. These were my golden appledorn. I only got 2 of these successfully. I haven't checked to see if any more are going to come up, but it doesn't look like it. I'm not too sure. And actually this was my Minton here, and this one is my Jimmy. This one, the orange one, is my Jimmy Triumph. And here are, I don't even remember the name of these, but I'll have them on the screen, and I do think I have them a part of the tour as well. These all started off this pink color, so I thought that this was really pretty, but now that I think about it, I also had these kind of like black looking tulips that were in this, and they didn't come up. So that is that. It actually looks like it's about to start raining, so I'm about to hurry up and show this to you. These are tulips that never sent up an actual tulip bulb, and you can see it's basically just foliage. And these are the blue bins that I told you I rolled everything in and out of. And again, just more tulips. And you can even see here, a lot of these tulips, they didn't even pop up. So that's pretty much what everything is looking like. All right, so I'm going to have to quickly finish this part because it is raining now, but I do want to say I think I have a clip that I actually need to show you guys before the tour starts. Ones that I actually planted up for my big box store, none of those came up. Actually, in fact, a lot of those got eaten by the rabbit before I was able to kind of get to them. But the ones, there were still a decent amount left, and the ones that were left, they weren't going to do anything because, again, I did not have them in there for the correct, I didn't put those in the fridge at all. I actually planted those before I got the ones that actually bloomed for me. So I think I do have a clip that I need to show you guys that I'll insert really quickly, me showing you where there was one that bloomed of my purple prince. The bloom literally was touching the soil. So as I mentioned in my previous videos, if they don't get the correct cold period, you either won't get a bloom at all, or you'll get a lot of what I got, which was a lot of short kind of foliage, but and of course no bloom as well. But it's something interesting to see. I wanted to show you guys this. I want you all to learn from my mistakes and see what will happen if you don't give them the correct time period. I don't think it's worth trying to shortchange them. I would just say from here on out, I'm definitely learning with gardening to follow the rules with some things you can kind of get away with, and some things you just can't. If they need a certain time period for something, make sure you do that. So after that clip, then we will go ahead and get into the actual tour. Okay, you all, so here is the tulip variety that I mentioned in the intro of the video. As you guys can see, this tulip is actually blooming, but you can also see that it barely has a stem. So these were the ones that I planted from my big box store before I got my mini fridge for my tulip pre-chilling. And as you can see, it did still produce a bloom, but like I mentioned earlier, if it does not get the correct chill period, it will have a short stem, and sometimes it will even not bloom. So I just got lucky enough that mine actually decided to still attempt to produce something for me. So as this begins to open more, I will come back and show you guys that. And then I also wanted to show you that the variety I planted in this pot here, those bulbs did in fact rot out. So I just came out here today because I kept noticing all of my other ones were opening or were popping through the soil, and this particular pot had none popping through the soil. So literally they all rotted. I'm not upset. It's just a learning curve for me, so I wanted to show you guys that, and then we'll just keep coming back with updates.